Saudi Arabia right now are making a
Will Saudi League be top 5 in the future?
Are the Saudis trying to take
Something interesting is unfolding in mainstream football. If you haven't been paying attention, there's an unlikely new player that is pushing or staging a coup on football. For a few years now, the Middle East has been inserting herself into conversation of mainstream football, and most people have been wondering why.
What's your business, man? What's your business?
Why would the FIFA award a region of the world that doesn't have a notable football culture the responsibility of hosting the world's most important event? Why would individuals and organizations from said region dare to invest in football clubs from Europe? And most importantly, why would some of the world's most famous stars choose to relocate and play in a football league away from the glory of European football? What if I told you that this is a hostile takeover?
Wool up, nigga. Wool up.
Well, perhaps not really hostile, but a takeover nonetheless. To answer the question of why the Middle East has recently been making headlines, we first need to understand the economic environment in the Middle East, particularly Saudi Arabia and Qatar, and their objective of attaining soft power in geopolitics. We have to get familiar with the concept of a sovereign investment fund, particularly Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, in line with the vision of a man, the vision of the man. So let's jump right in. What is the economic environment in Saudi Arabia? It is no secret that the kingdom is the largest exporter of oil in the global market, accounting for 18% precisely.
According to a report by Bloomberg, Saudi Arabia imported 174,000 barrels of Russian oil in April. And at the same time, Saudi became the top supplier of oil and gas to Europe.
Over the past years, the economy of the Saudi Arabian kingdom has been dependent on the revenue generated by oil exports. Oil contributes to 50% of the country's GDP and 70% of the export earnings. It is a very risky endeavor for a company to be highly dependent on a single product, let alone an entire country. To solve this problem, the country will need to diversify the source of their revenue, and this is where a vision comes into play for Saudi Arabia's case. In 2016, Prince Mohammed bin Salman launched a series of reforms to occur in Saudi Arabia in what is known as the Vision 2030. Most of the goals set in this ambitious endeavor will be funded by Saudi Arabia's Sovereign Investment Fund, which is also known as the Public Investment Fund, or PIF. A sovereign investment fund is a state-owned investment fund which is commonly established from commodity or export surplus by a country. After the reigning prince of Saudi Arabia ascended to power, the PIF instantly went into overdrive. Over the past few years, Saudi Arabia has made numerous investments that have struck controversy across all markets, with the most notable being the takeover of Newcastle United. In just 4 years after the launch of the Vision 2030, the PIF had already invested across almost every market. By March of 2020, the Saudi Arabian PIF had invested $2 billion in Uber, about $857 million in British Petroleum, $714 million in Boeing, and the list goes on. Facebook, Marriott International, Starbucks, it's just crazy. And in the post-COVID period, the investments began showing up in sports. WWE, UFC, golf, motorsport, and obviously football. In case you're still missing the bigger picture here, allow me to shed more light. Just after the 2022 World Cup, Cristiano Ronaldo confirmed that he will be transitioning from Manchester United to the Saudi Arabian League, and people thought perhaps they just wanted an elite player to add on to their league so that they can improve it.
They've invested £350 million in one player, trying to strengthen the league.
But that was far from the truth. By the time Cristiano was moving to Al Nassr, the Saudi Arabian PIF had already taken over Newcastle United for a cost of £350 million. In a recent promotional interview, Cristiano assured the world that he is happy playing at Saudi Arabia, and also shared his optimistic prediction of the Saudi Arabian League being among the top 5 leagues in the world in the near future. Presently, there has been reports linking the Kingdom State to some of the iconic football names. In the last quarter of the 2022-2023 season, Messi took his family on a trip to Saudi Arabia. It was rumored that he had gone to this trip for a meeting to discuss a possible move to Saudi Arabia. He was suspended by the PSG management for this unsanctioned trip. However, he explained that he only took the trip to Saudi Arabia in order to satisfy a contractual condition he has as an ambassador of tourism for Saudi Arabia. And when Al Ittihad offered him a very tempting deal, it was widely speculated that he would join Cristiano in Saudi Arabia, but he made a surprising U-turn and is now set to move to Miami. Even though they missed out on acquiring Messi, they were still successful in getting Benzema and N'Golo Kante. Benzema leaves Real Madrid after years of a successful career, having won more than 20 trophies and a Ballon d'Or to his name. N'Golo Kante, on the other hand, is among the best midfielders in the world, and he leaves Chelsea as an icon, especially after his contribution to the Premier League title won by the Blues in 2021. It was announced in the first week of June 2023 that the PIF had taken over 4 of the best Saudi Arabian clubs, including Cristiano Ronaldo's Al Nassr. These clubs were then turned into companies that are owned by the Saudi Arabian government and non-profit organizations of each particular club. This basically means that the clubs can now attract foreign investors of all sorts. Well, inasmuch as Saudi Arabia has been widely criticized and accused of sports washing in regard to her investment in sports, it is clear that the plan to diversify the economy from oil and gas is working. And with access to a lot of money, the Saudi Arabia will most certainly begin to attract more younger players to their leagues. Whatever effect that will have on the mainstream football still remains to be seen. So, if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button so as not to miss more of such videos.